Okay, today I'm doing a spins book for the old Southern Pacific Lone Pine branch. Now it's operated by Union Pacific, but this is for the entirety, including the part that was abandoned about 40 years ago. So spins books basically uses a code system to tell the crews where to drop off the cars, where to pick up the cars. Right here, this gives an example of a spins code, 473701. It says zone 47, tracks 37, spot 01. And the spots would have a green, like 3x3 sticker. Tells the crews where to put things. These numbers tell you that it's a storage track, or it's a hopper dump, or crane spotting. Basically tells them not to put a tank car in a piggyback ramp, and not to put a box car where a tank car unloads. Real simple stuff. This is a copy of a copy of a copy. So here we've got map diagrams. Self-explanatory. If it's a line with a dot, there's a carpooler there. Hopper, pit. Some of them, a gate and an overhead door. Sorry about that. Look pretty close, except one's wider than the other. But those are your basics. And more landmarks for the map. For the dotted line, not their railroad, somebody else's railroad. Here, special spot number codes. So storage track, crane spotting, hopper, auto ramp, ore loading ramp. On this branch you have ore loading ramps because we had a lot of mines. The Lone Pine branch, spins book takes care of Lone Pine from Mojave to Lone Pine, and the Oak Creek branch from Mojave to Creel. Then they got a area map, location map. Shows a big chunk of the Southern Pacific, but for today, this is the Oak Creek branch here. And here's the Lone Pine branch here. Currently, the Lone Pine branch goes as far as Searles and ends. And everything from Searles to Lone Pine no longer exists. Next we have the station number, the milepost, and then the number for the actual station for their paperwork. So, Junction Mojave, Chaffee. Chaffee is basically where the Mojave Airport is. All your different locations, all the way up to and ending in Lone Pine. And then for the Oak Creek branch, there's the numbers for Creel. First page, the main line comes across here, and it shows Chaffee. Chaffee has Mojave Airport, and then there's another facility that takes tank cars. There's Zone 8 for the Switchman's book. We don't have a Switchman's guide to worry about, so that's just information for us. Back in 1982, when this document was put out, there were several tracks that they switched at the Mojave Airport. Today you have Precision Rail, I think it is. They make wheel sets for trains. And they have a switch engine that's parked down here off of this map. It comes up and interchanges with the Union Pacific on this track. Sometimes they'll drop off parts for the windmills, turbines, whatnot. And they're just left here on the team track. Next coming up, if you look at Chaffee, your milepost, it's a little bit farther down to Cantil. There's nothing at Cantil today, but back in 1982 there was an ore loading facility. Continuing to Saltdale. Saltdale, the switch still exists today, and there's hopper cars in there. And then the next thing we come to, this is 1982. This is when the bypass was in place because of the tunnel fire. So it shows the original line with the switchback going around the tunnel to get to Searles, and then it gives out the individual track numbers at Searles. Inside the diamond, in this case, are your mileposts, I think. Yeah. Nope. This one's different. These are your track numbers. Your mileposts are here. Like I said, every one of these spin books is different. Today, the branch ends here before Highway 395, and this is where Trona Railroad would take off and collect cars for themselves, deposit cars from the different industries in Trona, and also there's a spur off of this line that takes care of China Naval Weapons Base. So U.S. military cars also go up those tracks to China Lake. Next page, we're starting out with the abandoned section. Inyokern. All these tracks are gone today. Shows you Inyokern. At this road here, crossing here, there's actual plaque talking about the railroad that was there once. As you go down Highway 395, after passing Inyokern, there's a bump in the highway where the tracks went underneath, serving the China Lakes Naval Air Station. This yard's gone. They got a little note here that says, trainmen are not allowed to go beyond this point into the base. The U.S. Navy switched to the rest of the area. You have Linnie. Linnie was Louisiana Pacific. This was where they loaded boxcars and cars with lumber from the mills in the area. Nothing at Coso. You have Skies. Nothing at, well, all this is gone today. Let me see what was at Skies. Okay, Skies was American Pumice. It was a pumice plant, whatever pumice is. I don't know. Then you had Spur going at Olancha. Another Spur here. And then at Bartlett. Bartlett was for a glass company. And you've got something here. Unknown, there's nothing listed. Seems pumice was used for scouring pads and whatnot. Pretty cool. This shows another switch coming into the city of Lone Pine. Now, back when they had the tunnel fire on the way to Searles, they took the local and they came up to Lone Pine, and they started pulling this track prematurely to make the bypass or the shoe fly around the tunnel. So a lot of this track was pulled initially, and then they came back later and took the rest of it. But here you've got Standard Oil had a switch. The station is still there today. Shows the station. It's now a private residence. Do not go there and bother the people. They're probably tired of rail fans and others coming out there. It's still yellow. Still says Lone Pine on the side of it, but it could definitely use a paint job. It's right off of Narrow Gauge Road. Here you've got PMT. You have Feather Rock here. They had a dock. They were a ore company. It shows all the difference. You have a bulk dock, a sack dock, and these docks at one time, you'd have the narrow gauge do transfer at Lone Pine. Back when they ran the narrow gauge. Then the narrow gauge continued down and ended down by the lake. So there you are, Lone Pine Branch. And our next page takes us to Oak Branch, Oak Creek. And this shows the track layout at Creel. It's one of the concrete plants that we have in the Kern County area. You have Monolith off of the Tehachapi, and you have Creel just north, or just railroad west of Mojave. Shows the coal cars go here. There's SP coming in here. Shows everything's set up. Shows that the coal cars were dumped up here. So there's a map you can take a screenshot of so you have a understanding what Creel is. Still is there today. How many tracks exist today, I couldn't tell you. I can see it from the highway, but I've never driven up there. This next page is a printout giving information on the tracks. And the best I can figure out is these are the lengths of the company tracks, or the business tracks, Southern Pacific tracks. So at Mojave Airport, the Spur is 6,268 feet long, and then the connection to it is 415 feet long. If I'm wrong about that, let me know, and I will put it in the comments for this. This continues on, and for the Saltdale says Southern Pacific has a spur, how long the spur is. At Searles, how long the tracks are at Searles. Inyokern, U.S. Navy. It shows interchange with Trona. Then at Linnie, Louisiana Pacific was a business, how long their track was. Gives a milepost. More information for the branch. You got Linnie, Skies, Bartlett, and then Lone Pine itself. And for Creel, this is all the information at Creel, what's at that track. And that's the end of the Lone Pine branch. Next page is blank.